If you're a woman of a certain age, you may be reevaluating your life. Your head, your heart, and your gut may be telling you that there's still more out there for you to do. But for the life of you, you can't seem to figure out what it is. So let's take a look at some of the reasons why you may be having difficulty figuring out what it is you want for this next chapter of your life. Hi, if we haven't met before, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy. One amazing thing about getting older is that some of those day-to-day, super hands-on roles and obligations and things that we used to have lessened a little bit, at least somewhat. Your kids are grown, you may not be in the workplace full-time anymore, and your house is pretty close to empty, at least some of the time. And this has given you some time to think about the future, your future in particular. The changes in our life can be very positive if we approach them in the right way. We still see years in front of us. Our brains are still working. Hopefully, we're doing all right in the health department. And we're ready for something new, or at least something different. And you may find that you've got a voice in your head that is either screaming at you to do something different, or you may find that it's just a little voice that's just kind of nagging at you and whispering at you that there's still something out there for you, but that time is getting shorter every day. You may also be looking around and seeing things that other people are doing. This may make you feel inspired, motivated, or possibly a little jealous. Or worse, you may look around and see nobody doing anything new or different at all. Everyone around you may be just doing the same old thing. Now, I'm just going to get real here for a minute and admit that some of us who are of a certain age were born into a generation of women who we were not encouraged when we were little girls. We were not told that we could be anything or do anything we wanted when we grew up. Now, I'm not saying we were totally muzzled, but we were probably raised with a pretty clear expectation that we would grow up, get married, have kids, and that if we got a job, and that is a pretty big if, that if we got a job, we would choose something that would complement our families and allow us to have as much time at home as possible. Many of us who went to college became teachers and nurses, and now I am not knocking those professions. After all, I was an educator for 32 years, and we definitely need good teachers and nurses. What I am saying is that we may not have been encouraged to look at all of the other possibilities that were out there. So now you find that your life has changed, and you're really not sure what you want to do next. Life has changed, and while you're not giving up your role as wife and mother and possibly grandmother, you do have an urge to do something else, this time for yourself. Unfortunately, you may be struggling to figure out what that is. And the problem is, you're not only unsure of what the possibilities are, but you're unsure what you'd want even when you figured out what the possibilities were. If only you could figure out what this new thing is, your life would be so much easier. And your inability to figure out what you want to do is bothering you. Why is it so hard? Is there something wrong with you because you're having a hard time figuring it out? You've probably wondered, how can somebody not know what it is they want to do? Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not nuts. There's nothing wrong with you if you're struggling with this, and there are several different reasons why you may be having a hard time figuring out what you want to do on the path forward. The first reason is you haven't thought about what you would like or what you want in a really, really, really long time. Even if there was something specific that you wanted to do when you were younger, something you dreamed about, the reality is that you have changed. As you have grown through the years, you've added new skills, you've added wisdom, you've learned new things, and old ambitions may no longer fit with the person that you have become or with the life that you have created for yourself. The second reason you may be struggling is this. You may have been so busy working, taking care of others, and doing all those good girl things you were raised to do, that you've put your own wants and needs away in a box. You tucked them away. It was necessary for you to cope with the stressful life that you were living and to deal with all the demands on your time, energy, and attention. Becoming single-minded and focused was the way you coped and got through the day without losing your mind. Third reason you may be struggling is that there's a good chance you were never really encouraged to dream and to set goals and to think about what you wanted to do in the first place. Instead, you may have gotten messages like these. Sit down and be quiet. You need to do what you're told. Others know better. Don't be too bossy or demanding. People will think you're overbearing. I've heard that one a fair amount. Make sure to take care of others. It's important to sacrifice your own wants and needs for the people you love. Don't rock the boat. Boys don't like girls who are smart. You can't be more ambitious or successful than the man in your life. Basically, all of those messages that you got gave you the very clear understanding that what you might have been dreaming about and what you might have hoped that you would be able to do, that those things were selfish, that they were irresponsible, that they were irrelevant, that they were unimportant, and that they were definitely unattainable. So now it's important for you just to behave yourself and get back in your place. Now, I'm generalizing, of course. I know that not all women who were of my generation grew up with these messages, but I know this. There are many of you who grew up with exactly this kind of message, and you are exactly who I'm talking to. And then there's a fourth reason that you may be struggling. Today, there are so many options out there that they weren't even available when we were young girls. The internet has made it possible for you to work from home for somebody else. It's made it possible for you to start your own business at home. It's made it possible for you to self-publish the books that you want to write. Such an array of possibilities can really make your head spin when you think about it. So is it any wonder that you're kind of struggling figuring out what to do next? This may be the first time in your entire life that you have ever had the time or the opportunity to just think and dream and explore the possibilities and make some plans for what you want to do next in your life. It may be the first time you've ever been able to make a plan that was just for you. Think about that for a minute, and then cut yourself a little slack if you're having a hard time figuring it out or if you're feeling overwhelmed. Making some changes and setting a new course for your life at this age can be very exciting. There are so many options and possibilities just out there waiting for you. But if all of these options and possibilities are making your head swim just a little bit, just know that you're not alone. You've got lots of company, and there is nothing wrong with you if you are still struggling to find your footing. Change is scary, and the truth is, not everybody's willing to do it. Not everybody's even willing to think about it, to be real honest. The fact that you're even thinking about it is a great first step, and frankly, I have total confidence in your ability to figure it out. In the meantime, if you need help, please go visit me over at tamingfrenzy.com to see how I can help you. I hope you'll continue to watch the other videos in this series on setting a new course. Next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about how the inner child in you may hold those keys to help you figuring out what you want to do next. So until next time, let's all tame a little frenzy.